Hey, y'all give a round of applause for Robert, man. Oh wow, so what states do you operate in?
Mostly the south.
Okay.
The furthest is Springfield, Missouri.
Nice, that's awesome. So mobile home parks, self-storage, single family, multifamily, kind of pretty wide range there, huh?
A little bit of everything. We own laundromat, commercial building, strip. So it has 3 commercial spaces in them.
That's awesome. I'm curious, I wanna circle back and go to kind of like how you got started. I know you started off flipping houses, but you mentioned that sale. I'm curious to pick your brain on that. So was that the intent? Did you guys buy it to get it stabilized, get it up and then sell it? Or was it just an opportunistic decision?
Yeah, so that was, the plan was a 5-year hold. We had investors, we had passive investors that helped purchase the deal. And then we had managing members, which I was part of. That was a 3 location portfolio. So we had Ocean Spring, Pascagoula, and Goshen. So that was a total of 450 units.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And I know you got started flipping houses. Tell us about that. What did that first deal look like?
So the first deal was actually right after Katrina. A lot of people started or really got hurt with Katrina, which we did as well. We had, I've been in construction for about 35 years, and before Katrina, I was doing side work, and then after Katrina, I was doing a lot more on the side of my W-2 job, which I was in commercial sales. And I just saw a lot of contractors not only doing a renovation, but they started buying houses. At the time after Katrina, I grew up in New Orleans East. I helped rebuild my parents' house. They got into their house in New Orleans East, and I just started going down the street. I knew some people from just living there. I tried to track them down. The first house was only 4 houses down from my parents. Found that person that owned the house. They were in Walker, Louisiana. And I just told him, I said, it's been sitting for a year and a half. It's never been gutted. Do you plan on coming back? They said no. I said, well, I'll buy it for $30,000. You don't have to do anything. And they agreed. And bought that house. It was a roof down renovation. So we had to gut it, change the roof, everything, full gut. That first deal we sold for $120,000. We put $35,000 in it. About 90% of it we did the work ourselves, myself. So sweat equity does get you a bigger return, especially for the first one. And that's how the first one went.
That's awesome. I'm curious, what was that market like, within a year and a half after Katrina? Like, how do you pull the comps? I was fairly young, not in real estate when Katrina hit, but like, I guess talk through, if you remember, like what was that market like trying to sell a house in New Orleans a year after Hurricane Katrina, devastation everywhere? Like how much different was it versus today?
It was very eerie. I mean, obviously there was a lot more abandoned houses around. Realtors were coming out and trying to, obviously make a living and sell homes. The comps, I mean, they kind of used some of the comps before Katrina and then what it could be. Obviously, I went to the bank with no money, by the way. I didn't have any money. The situation was, kind of long story short, my wife at the time was against us. So I told her, I said I was going to work through renovations, get $10,000 in our pocket, and we'd put it into investment property. She said yes. By the time I found this house, she said no. And I said, well, I'm going to get it anyway. I went to my parents. They lent me $12,000 to go to the bank. I had a construction loan. The bank valued it as well, so they kind of had the same comps. They kind of evaluated, what it would be after renovated and before Katrina. So when I did sell that home within five months, long story short, I told my wife, here's half of the profit, we're gonna get a divorce. And kind of personal, but some things, I've always been a driven person, and I hate being stagnant.
Yeah.
And the wife I have now understands that, and she big supporter. Whenever you get into a marriage or even a partnership in any of these businesses, they have to have, compromise. You have to have understanding and support. At that time, I didn't, and I'm not for divorce, but it just happened, and there was some other issues anyway. But anyway, I took that half and I rolled it into my first duplex, and that's where I lived after staying with my parents for a little bit. Yep.
Fellow house hacker. Yeah, I'm big on that. We did the same thing. I lived with my parents, and then we bought our first double on Jackson Boulevard, right down the street, and did the same thing. And you mentioned the wife thing. I think it is definitely key. I look back and think we would not have had the trajectory we did if she wasn't on board living in conditions that I'm surprised she was okay living in. Living in places while we fix it up that, termite infested, just all kind of crazy stuff. So very grateful that she was on board with that. So you flipped the house, took the profit, put it into a duplex, house hack, lived there. At what point did you kind of hit that scale or jump up to doing bigger projects? Or what did that trajectory look like?
Well, I kept on, buying more houses. I would probably say about 6 years ago, I started following people on Facebook. Even though I was not a Facebook person at the time, I thought it was all, drama. But anyway, I started going onto Facebook more for education, and Rod Cleef was someone that I started following, and he was very big on multifamily. And followed him, kind of learned a lot about multifamily investing. And I told my wife at this time now, the wife I have now, very supportive. I said, hey, I feel that we need to go bigger. And I wanted to go to this conference. This conference was in Denver. I had no idea anyone that was gonna go, so I had nobody that I flew out there to meet. But I did tell myself that I was gonna meet Rod Cleef, and I was gonna meet every single person on that stage. That was 6 years ago in Denver. I flew out there by myself, came back. I met 90% of those people. Wow. And to this day, I have been partners with these investors that was on the stage somewhere or the other, either in a deal, a mastermind, business. But that, when you want to scale, you have to have that mindset that you want to, get to meet other people that are doing bigger things, learn from them, and see how they scaled. And that's exactly what I did.
Man, I love that. That's awesome. As a quote, I think it was Brandon Turner maybe, or somebody says, you get around people who make your wildest dreams look like just another Tuesday, right? And it'll elevate your game. Walk me through tactically, what did that look like? So you're at the conference, these people are on stage. Did you just walk up to them after a speech? How do you approach them? What does that conversation look like? If somebody wanted to replicate that technique, what tactically did that look like at that conference?
One of the biggest questions for me, at that point was, how did they get started, and what shifted them? There's always something that's going to trigger, somebody wanting to go bigger. And one thing I would say, if you ever, when you're getting into real estate, you really need to know what you want out of it. You know, at this point, I mean, this was only 6 years ago. You know, I have grandkids, I have kids. You know, my goal, honestly, in 5 to 7 years is to not put a finger on a hammer, paintbrush, which I'm almost there, but, you know, I wanted to do bigger things so it wasn't more hands-on. You know, when you're getting into storage facilities and a multifamily, it's a team effort. It's not, you're working on everybody else's strengths. So, you know, my strength was construction, renovation. Other people in this team that we have are partners, you know, can raise funds, equity. Partners. Some people were better at underwriting and asset management. So that's what you want to do. You want to find out what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and team up with those people.
That's really good advice. And what would you say, so having known all those people, getting to know them a little bit better, and then yourself having scaled, what separates people who scale and grow versus those who just stay where they are? Stay comfortable.
Keep communicating with them. I did a lot with social media. Again, you know, I don't like drama, but education and really getting into masterminds and different groups is really good. Conferences is huge.
Yeah.
You know, it was almost like a reunion when you start going to a couple of these and in different areas, and it's just you get to not only know them as investors, but you get to know them as people, as friends, and you know, you can lean on them you know, after you get to know them more.
I feel like we live in this era of Instagram and YouTube influencers, and seems like everybody's got a course to sell, right? Like, how do you weed out the good masterminds, the good people to follow, the good people to buy a course from versus those that are just charlatans?
You know, that's I learned kind of the hard way. You definitely want to vet who you're going to try to partner with and what courses you get into. Some of these courses are $20,000, $30,000, $50,000. Definitely know who they are, what their background is, how they got there. If it was just from a couple of deals or it was from 20 years of experience of owning multifamily, and how those properties also resulted. So did they lose those properties or did they sell them at a profit? We were one of the people that were on a stage. We were actually teaming up with them to do a mechanical company down here. They owned one in Baltimore and they were looking to expand. We were a year and a half into it, so we were expanding here until the main partners started getting into it. All kind of drama came up, talking about this one was arrested for this one had bribery charges, and it's like we didn't even know because we thought they were great people. They were on the stage, they had to have been, you know, good, reputable people. And when we heard this and we started digging into it, my wife and I just like backed out and said, we're out. And like totally dropped everything that we built in a year and a half. So it was just really vet. I mean, there's people that I haven't, you know, I partnered up with after a year, 2 years, just getting to know them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, take it slow, huh? Like dating.
Yeah.
So I know you mentioned, you know, being involved in multifamily, self-storage, you know, flip, single family, kind of all across the board. What are your top 2 or 3 filters or like napkin math that you use to even decide if you're going to spend the time and energy analyzing a deal? Like, do you have like a quick rule of thumb? You know, like some people I feel like nobody uses it anymore, but the 1% rule or certain cap rate. Is there a filter you use to determine if this is even worth your time evaluating?
It really depends on what you're looking at. I mean, everything really evaluates a little bit differently. Mobile home parks, I mean, it really depends on tenant-owned homes versus park-owned homes, how many they have in the park. Storage, the same thing, like the vacants or how many are down units, what kind of improvements you're gonna have to do on those units to get them back up. So a lot of what we look at are all value adds. So if it was a Class A, multifamily apartment complex, and Class A, what I'm saying, it's a newer apartment, it's 98% occupied, I wouldn't even look at it. Now, if it was a 60% occupied, it had some renovation that needed to be done to a lot of the units, they're under market, I would start looking at it. The same thing with single family. You want to quicker than napkin. What is the ARV going to be, the after repaired value, versus what you're going to get it, what you're going to buy it for. Obviously, renovation costs. The last one that we did was just a huge gap. I knew the house needed a lot of work, but it had room. Once we started gutting the floors or whatever, if we did find termites or rotten framing, we knew that we still had that in a budget and it would still work out.
Yeah, that's important. And I feel like a lot of times, I think a lot of people use the 70% rule, right? Or historically have, like 70% of ARV minus repairs. And a lot of times people, like when I tell them that, get sticker shock. They're like, your offer would be how much? But even at 70%, it's not a grand slam, because you're a bad sewer line, termite damage, there's 100 different things that could go south that turns that, even at 70%, it turns it to where you're losing money or breaking even. What about location? So you obviously invest in a lot of different markets. Are there any trends or market demographics that you specifically look for or move away from? Employment, population size, like anything like that stand out?
I'm pretty much a rural area guy. I do not invest in New Orleans. Some people think I'm crazy for that, but I've managed 600 units for an investor, and I've gone through the headaches with inspections, dealing with the water department, permitting. It is just a nightmare. So I do not invest in New Orleans. I do invest in Jefferson, West Bank, Slidell, into Mississippi now. It doesn't really matter the population long as it's growing. A lot of people are always looking for rundown houses. I'm looking for development. When you see development, something's happening in that area, so it's growing. For some reason, that's just a big key for me. Yeah.
I heard somebody say recently they look for new Starbucks permits, right? Like Starbucks has a team of analysts of where's the growth going to go, and where is the gentrification going to happen, and all these things. And he's like, so we just copy that, we let them do all the hard work, and then we just follow the path of new Starbucks, which I thought was pretty interesting. One common theme, one thing I really like about doing these interviews is a common theme that popped up is, I think a lot of times people see someone who's successful and our brain just naturally assumes that it was this straight upward path with no roller coaster, no ups and downs, and that everything was rainbows and sunshine. But one common theme that constantly comes out of these interviews is the times where things weren't fantastic, right? The times where you're thinking about, quitting and giving up, or, I've heard people talk about, I didn't know if I was going to be able to afford the mortgage that month, or, issues that pop up. if you don't mind being vulnerable, are there any of those that stand out that you wouldn't mind sharing? And the reason I ask is because, again, I want to try to, for the new investor in the room, I want to try to encourage them that it's not always going to look and feel and be great. It's not as glamorous as it looks on Instagram. Like, every single successful person in this room has been in those times where, like, dude, I'm out. It's too much, right? So do any of those stories or circumstances stand out in your memory?
I mean, there's several. I mean, especially when you're renovating a home and you're trying to rent it, the rental market slows down. Just like Mike said earlier, you've got to, not only, think that if there's something happens in the renovation and you find rotten wood or termites or whatever, you also got to figure in holding costs. Yeah. So whatever your holding cost is going to be, you have to figure that in as well. So if you have, usually I do 3 to 4 months, and just, hopefully I get it, rented right away in 1 month. But I mean, 3 to 4 months is, I think, on average, what happens. I mean, they have had, some rentals, and, single families is really crucial that you do that, because you only have one unit. If you don't rent that home and it's $1,500 your mortgage, and that's $6,000 in 4 months. That's a lot. You definitely got to figure in holding costs. If you find something in a renovation, but absolutely that happens all the time.
Yeah.
And then you have your wife or somebody like, you need to get this rented. But definitely. It's not, I always call, real estate is a snowball effect. You take one property at a time. You take that profit, you try to roll it into something else. It is definitely not an overnight success. Definitely not.
Yeah, that's a really good lesson. It takes a lot of resilience, and I know I just recently read one of Morgan Housel's books, and he talks about the most successful investors aren't the ones that get the best returns, it's the ones that can last the longest, right? And he talks about Warren Buffett, and he's like, there are plenty of investors who got way better returns than Warren Buffett. It's just Warren Buffett did it for 70 years, right? So it's not like you don't have to make the most money on every single flip or every single rental, but it's be the one that's doing it without going belly up for decades and decades.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a good lesson.
Yeah.
I want to talk through too, so you still have your W-2 job, right? And I think that's something else that I really enjoy gleaning from these interviews, because I feel like the YouTube guru, Instagram culture is, hey, just go buy a double and then you're gonna have passive income and you'll be able to quit your job, right? It's like kind of the big lie that gets a lot of people in real estate. I think it's still good, I guess, in a way it's still good because it gets them into real estate, but maybe for the wrong reasons. But I'm curious to hear your perspective on having a W-2. I think a lot of people see it as this ball and chain that, they're chained and anchored down. But I think I've heard you talk in the past, you might see that a little bit differently. What's your perspective on having a W-2 job?
Well, I'm very thankful for having a W-2. I'm sure you've heard, your fast money, slow money, and just the third medium money.
Unpack that. Yeah. Somebody hasn't heard of it. Unpack that for us a little bit.
Yeah. So your fast money is like your W-2. Your medium is more or less like a flip, and then your medium is going to be slow. Yeah, the slow money is going to be like your passive. It's going to be passive investment.
Appreciation.
Yeah. But my W-2, I'm very thankful. He kind of mentioned Brandon Turner. I work for a company that he owns. Open Management. I've been there for 5 years, and the one great thing I love about the company is that almost everyone are investors, and they talk about investing. So to have a community not only in W-2, in real estate. That's what I do every day in mobile homes. But having that piece of it also, helping you with the mindset and talking about they're cheering you on to buy properties, and that's not something that happens every day, but we do have sources that we can look at and get educated on as well. But I am fully remote, so I have some flexibility. But yeah, just having a team of people like that with the experience is really great.
Yeah, and I think that's a great perspective because it shines light on it doesn't have to be this binary black and white. You hate your job or you're retired on a beach, right? Like there is a middle ground. You can have a job that you enjoy, you like the people you work with, that probably helps give you tools to succeed in your investing, and like that does exist. It doesn't have to be, not every W-2 job has to be, oh, I hate my job, I can't wait to quit and live off of quote unquote passive income.
Right.
So yeah, I love, and I'm curious about, and you can answer this either, I guess, within the realm of the W-2 that you work for or in your own personal investments, but I'm curious, behind the curtain, what does that infrastructure look like? So like, whether it's finding and vetting vendors or contractors in a new market, what work do you delegate versus not delegate? I'm kind of curious again, like the structure or the infrastructure behind the investing side. What does that look like?
I guess to start off with me, I'm more of a social person, social butterfly, as my wife says. My wife is nothing but numbers. She's the asset manager for a large multifamily company based out of Houston. So we both are in real estate, basically 8 to 5 on our W-2. And then as far as contractors, I basically look for the contractors, work with the contractors. At this point, I mean, we've been doing this 15, 20 years, especially here. We have contractors already that we trust. We make a phone call when we do a renovation, but my contractor already knows what color paint I'm gonna use, what color paint the trim's gonna be, what flooring we're gonna use. Scaling on that part of it, and really having a team know what your vision is before you even start the deal is really crucial as well.
What about, you mentioned you being more of the social butterfly, wife being more analytical. What are some things you delegate, and maybe more importantly, what are some things that no matter how much you scale, you'll never delegate? You have to keep yourself.
I mean, I guess follow up with the contractors, although my wife knows as much as I do. She's been in it for a long time. Finding the deals, I like to use wholesalers, brokers, agents, stuff like that. I do not like doing spreadsheets, so that would be off my plate. Yeah. So if my wife didn't do it, I wouldn't do that. So I would delegate that. Other than that, me doing the work, I'll delegate that now. I don't want to do any hammering, nailing, painting anymore, unless we have to. So I'm at that point where I would delegate that as well.
That's good. I think that's the cool thing about real estate is it works for people on both ends of that spectrum, right? The person who's just getting started and their competitive advantage is that they can do all the work themselves and make more money on that flip than anybody else could, right? And the guy on the opposite end of the spectrum who's been doing it for 20, 30 years, who is doing it at scale and doesn't have the time to do those things. Like real estate is the answer for both of those people, and I think that's what's so cool about it. I want to ask one more tactical question about the infrastructure side. If I were dropping into a brand new real estate market tomorrow, let's say Boise, Idaho, what would your top 2, 3, 4 tips be for me to find the right connections? How would you what advice would you give me on finding the right connections, whether it's contractors, property managers, agents? Like what advice would you have?
First, what I use bestplace.net. I don't know if you use that.
No, I never heard of it.
It's a site, you just go put the zip code, city. It'll tell you from crime to population growth. I mean, pretty much anything in that city.
Oh, nice.
That's going to be the first thing. Obviously, Google, AI. AI is that's your partner these days. It'll create a whole business plan for you, based on what you're looking for. So that's really what I use a lot now. And now my wife's going to Claude. I haven't really dealt with that one before, but AI, if you go to AI and say, I'm going to Springfield, I'm looking for a mobile home park in this zip code, give it a price range that you're looking for, whatever it is, it'll come back and tell you pretty much anything about that area.
Yeah. Is that how you guys are finding like vendors and contractors and stuff as well? Or is that more on the underwriting the deal side?
It's kind of both. I mean,
Nice.
It'll tell you, if you're looking for contractors, it'll give you a list of contractors. The same thing if you're looking for off market deals, mobile home parks. Say these mobile home parks, I'm looking for 1 to 50 or 50 to 150 pads in this area. It'll give you a list of every mobile home park in that area.
Wow.
With the contacts.
I'm curious, I guess we can go down that road a little bit. What do you think is going to happen with AI? Like, what do you think any of the disruption, I guess disruption has a negative connotation, but either good or bad, how do you think it's going to change real estate over the next 5 years?
I think the people that are not using it is going to fall behind.
Yeah.
I think that's simple. The last home that we renovated, before I went to a broker or anyone to list it, I took good photos. I went to AI and said, take this photo and design it. Like put fully furnished, decor, you tell it, and it came back with towels on towel holders, throw rug, curtain, the same thing with the living room, put furniture in it. I mean, it was just amazing how it came out. And I think for brokers, anyone, if you're not getting to know AI, Claude, it's kind of the same thing, what it's capable of doing, you're gonna fall behind.
Yeah, that's true. And I think even a step further, I think if you're not in whatever field, if you're not providing real value, I think you should probably be nervous, right? Like as a real estate broker, like if you were just checking the boxes and showing up at closing, collecting commission checks, like you should probably be nervous. If you are, same thing, a real estate investor, if you're just kind of checking the boxes and not really providing value, I think AI is gonna disrupt a lot of people. But those who are providing value and who are plugged into it and know what they're doing with AI, I think it's gonna be a catapult.
Yeah, some of the best brokers that I've dealt with, this person, this agent came to the house and not doing anything that I was talking about with AI, but she came in personally and said, this is really great, but maybe you should do this, do the backsplash and a different.
Yeah.
I mean, she really gave me value with personal touches on how we could get a renter or even sell the property.
Yeah.
But I mean, that right there, you're not gonna get from AI. And I mean, it may give you an idea, but the personal interaction between an agent is gonna be really crucial, but then also know how AI can help them.
Right. I'm curious, I'm going to ask you to take out your crystal ball here. What do you see coming over the next 12 to 18 months for real estate? I guess, and you feel free to take that 30,000 feet macro or the New Orleans specific market, but what do you see coming over the next 12 to 18 months?
I think the interest rate's going to go down, which is going to be a big plus. But with that said, honestly, as an investor, it really doesn't matter. If the numbers work and make sure you plug in everything. Just like I said, your carrying cost, what that note's going to be, your renovation cost, everything. If the number's going to work for you, that's what's going to work. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of us as investors have had hard money loans at 10%, 12%.
Yep.
Some of them are even asking more than that. But you still plug those numbers in and it works.
Yeah.
But far as, I think, it really depends on the market, honestly.
Yeah.
New Orleans, hopefully it gets better. I love New Orleans. With the new leadership, as long as she turns around permitting, the water board, that kind of thing, that's going to do well. As far as different areas, it really depends on, like I said, what projects are coming in. Amazon is coming in Louisiana, in Mississippi. That's huge. You just want to watch, what's happening, what developments are going on. Far as every state, you always are going to have your pockets.
Yeah.
You're always going to have your pockets. A lot of the big investors that I've partnered up with, they look at the state or just the overall. Staying local and knowing what's going on in the pockets of your area is very, very crucial.
No, I agree. And that's honestly one of the things I really like about St. Bernard is I feel like it's an approachable community where, if something happens, you can talk to Merida Community Development or Lauren over there or, local council person or whatever. Like, I feel like it's very approachable and they're willing to sit and listen. Case in point, they just passed some legislation a couple months ago about like the duplex requirements or the size requirements for the lot on what you could build the duplex on, right? It had to be 50 feet. And I sat down with the councilman that got it passed and said, hey man, look, here's another perspective, you know what I mean? And he was willing to listen and they're doing some math and seeing what makes sense and maybe looking at it. But I think it's nice to live in a place that you have a voice, you know what I mean? I think that's what's cool about St. Bernard. And it's probably similar for St. Tammany, Jefferson, those auxiliary, but yeah, I think Orleans has some room to grow in that regard.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of your big investors, like from California, New York, that really, really have money, big money, they're not looking at St. Bernard, Louisiana.
Yeah.
They're not looking at, Louisiana or the small Jefferson Parish. They might look at New Orleans. New Orleans numbers are horrible, so they're not even going to look there. But they're looking at Houston. They're looking at San Antonio,
Right.
South Carolina. So that's a big advantage of staying local. And even though we've branched out and we're in bigger markets, I stay here for the smaller stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. And I like something you said a second ago of, here's my prediction on the market, but it doesn't matter. I love that mindset that, hey, you just pivot your numbers to fit. If interest rates go up, okay, then I just adjust my numbers so that it cash flows. If materials go up, then my offer is going to be a little bit lower. But it's almost that what's the guy, Ryan Holiday? That stoic mindset of I'm going to control what I can control, and I can still make deals work. So I really like that.
Yeah, one big thing as an investor also is just because somebody is offering, has it for sale, has it listed for a certain price. If it doesn't work for you, so what? You offer what works for you. And as long as you do that, you should not fail. And obviously there's so much that can happen in a renovation, but
Right.
as long as you make sure you have your reserve, you're carrying costs, you figure in your higher interest rate, whatever, if that number works for you, that's your offer. So don't look at that number that it's for sale for if you really like that area, that house or that property.
That's really good, and I think that's what got not taking that advice is I think what got a lot of people in trouble the last couple of years, right? Because they paid what they paid, hoping rates were going to come down within 6 months, a year, hoping material costs would come down, hoping rents would rise, and none of those things necessarily happened. So I think, it's that advice 3 years ago could have saved a lot of people.
Yeah, and I mean, we haven't really talked about the BRRRR method, but I'll tell you one big thing is do not over leverage. Like even the house that we just renovated, rented, we refinanced, we only refinanced it at 65%.
Really?
Because I know, and we did a cash out. So we cashed out, I could have cashed out more. Even a lender was like, oh, we could cash out to 75%. Well, I want to be conservative in case something does happen with the market. I still have equity in it. It wasn't any more cash I really needed, although we are going to roll that into something else. But yeah, definitely, work at your own terms and don't let anybody else push you in a different direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a perspective I've seen in myself change, where early on it was leveraging. If the bank would have given me $1, I would have taken $1. Like every single dollar they would have given me, as much, house hacking, they'll refinance 95% or whatever, right? And really got lucky that when I was doing all that, things were moving up, right? But have since kind of pivoted on that, and now I'm with you. Yeah, I think a little bit less leverage. Maybe you don't get quite as optimal returns, but again, going back to that Morgan household concept, it'll stop you from going belly up if things turn sideways.
Yeah.
So as we land the plane, I want to give some time in case anybody has any questions here, but I want to try something new, something we haven't done yet. I want to do like a quick fire. Jake's recording here for the social media, like for the content side of it. I want you to repeat after me and then fill in the blank. Okay, so the first one here is, if you only take one thing away from this interview, it should be blank.
And you want me to
So say that back, but then fill it in, yeah.
Okay.
So if you only take one thing away from this interview, it should be.
If you take one thing out of this interview, it would be go on your own terms. Move on your own terms and be conservative with your numbers.
That's good. I got one more, or a couple more. A deal is not a good deal if blank.
A deal is not a good deal if your numbers don't work.
Good. I like it. If I had to start over today, my first move would be blank.
If I had to start over today, my first move would be probably learning more. That's probably one of the biggest advice I would say to anyone that's getting into this is really learn about real estate and what you want out of real estate, because there's so many avenues in real estate. Obviously, you can be a wholesaler, you can be a flipper, you can buy and hold. But if you have no idea about construction, don't do a flip. I mean, I'm just saying this, you can watch the programs on TV, but they don't tell you about what happened when they turn that camera off.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really learn what you want out of it. If you have money on a sideline and you want to be a passive investor and learn how somebody buys a mobile home park or a storage facility, a passive is just putting in money, not having a day-to-day say-so or managing tasks, but basically you putting it into a real estate, which is very stable, but you you're not doing that renovation. You're not doing it. You also see their plan. You see their numbers every month, or get a paycheck every quarter, hopefully. Long as you vet your operators, but just make sure that you're doing it on your own terms and learn what you can before you get into real estate.
That's really good advice. One more. The key to scaling your portfolio is blank.
The key to scaling would be the people surrounding you. Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, I think your story is a good example of that. What the conference example you gave.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, we'll land the plane here. Hey, y'all give a round of applause for Robert, man. He's awesome.
Thank you.